Hi everyone, in this AusGeochem tutorial video we'll be looking at how to upload data or samples on an individual basis. The first thing to point out is that you need to be a data contributor to contribute data or sample metadata to the platform, and how to register to become a data contributor is mentioned in another video, and that will allow you to have access to this My Data section. The other important prerequisite before being able to upload a sample is to have a data package created, and they are also explained in another video, but just briefly, a data package is the key container, if you like, of sample information and analytical data. And also it's a place that you can control privacy settings, making it public or private, and control who your collaborators might be on any one data package. So once you've got your data package created, then you can move on to the next step and you can start inputting data. Now, just on data, it's important to note that AusGeochem uses a relational database architecture. And in this case, what that means is that a lot of information is stored in different tables. So for example, we have data tables for sample metadata, data tables for uranium lead analytical information, and also for all of the things you see listed here. Now, the reason for using a relational database is that it makes the AusGeochem platform much more powerful when it comes to querying the database in a meaningful way, and also allows us to do on-the-fly analytics in the map view as well. Just on these lists here, these tables that you can edit or create, it's important to note that the rocks and minerals table is actually linked directly to mindat.org using their lithology hierarchy, so that can't be edited. But all of these other ones, you can create additional information relevant to your project or your samples. So I'll go ahead now in this video and show you how to create a new sample on an individual basis, whereas the bulk upload of a number of samples is going to be shown in a different video. So to create a sample, we click on samples here and we'll click on this create button. And we go here to create a sample name. So I'm going to call this sample pipe 3, and I'm going to attach it to a data package that I've already made previously. This one here, I'm going to click create. And now we go ahead and put in some really important information. So type of sample, and this is all a predefined list. So if your option isn't shown here, then you could put other, but mine is a rock sample. And it was sampled using drill core, but again, there are a predefined list, or you can use other. The material, so this is where we use the mindat.org lithology hierarchy, and we query that database when we start typing a rock type. So this is a kimberlite in my case. And I can put the collection date was last month sometime. And I can also add some extra information. So I could say 30 centimeter rock chip, drill core. This is a completely free text field that you can do what you like with. But quite importantly, I'm going to note down here the archive location. So where is the sample stored, in case someone from a different institution wants to contact me and find out where the material is held. And I can say that's in the McCoy building, add more information. Another thing we can do here is we can add a tag to make our querying even more sensitive. So I might call this the Finland kimberlite tag. And then I can hit save on this one, move on to the next page. The next page is the geospatial information, again, very important. So I could call this the pipe 3 drill site. In the location kind, I could say this is a borehole, and other information you could put here in a free text field. I won't do that for now. And then we've got to put in latitude and longitude. So where does the sample come from? Now, using this map tool here, I could actually fly to the location approximately. Could scroll in a little bit more. And let's say it was about here. I could click use this location, and the lat and long is automatically read across. But I happen to know the exact lat and long, so I'll enter that now. And 28.709, and I could say it was in plus or minus 10 meters as my accuracy. So that's the lat and long put in. The next thing we can do is the elevation. Now, I don't have that recorded in my notes, but I can actually autofill the latitude and longitude, autofill the elevation by latitude and longitude using the visual elevation model. So what that's saying is that at this point in the map, based on the data model we're using, the elevation above sea level is 130 meters. And I'll go ahead and click save on that, and then move forward to the next step, which is IGSN. Now, IGSNs, or International Geosample Numbers, also have their dedicated video, but just briefly, it's a unique identifier attached to your sample, which will persist forever and is actually really important for database interoperability. So if you don't have an IGSN number for your samples, you can actually mint one right now using AusGeochem. And I'll go ahead and mint one now. That's been done. And then I can go ahead and look at the landing page, for example, or I could download this QR code right now and stick that QR code to my sample material so I'll lose track of the IGSN. But for now, I'll move on. So here we can add the other related information. And before I mentioned these other data tables, so people, literature, funding, for example, that's where you add that important information. So I'll go ahead and link myself. I've already added myself earlier to the people table. We could say that I was the chief investigator, for example, and we'll hit save. So the next thing we can do, we'll see that's been added. So my name and my ORC ID is there. We can link literature. If you've got a paper attached to this sample, so I happen to have that uploaded again as well. And if there was funding, you could add that here. So just an example, I'll just add whatever has already been stored, and then we can see that information's all been filled out. Now, importantly, to have this people information and this literature information, this funding information accessible before you make the sample, you have to go and add it under these different tables, which is very straightforward to do. And finally, we could add an image or some data attached to that sample. So if I had a thin section image, I could upload that here, for example. Or if I had some information from my notes I wanted to add, I could do that. So I'll go ahead and just upload a picture. So of a granite, not the actual sample, but just to give you an idea of what you can do. And then we have that's all been stored. So that's everything in terms of adding a single sample. So that's all been done. Now I can go over to samples, and we can see that sample has been added successfully with all the key information. And if I go to the map, and if I head on over to Finland, up here, and if I just make sure the data package is turned on, so I'll turn on that data package, the relevant one. And pipe 3 is just here. Click on that, and we can see my sample information has been added correctly. So I'll leave that there for now. And in another video, we'll be discussing how to add bulk data upload, so how to add multiple samples at once.